few years ago now, but she was saying there was a YouTube, or it might not have been YouTube, a social media presence, and it was a guy who was a bit older, but it was like the questions only a dad could answer, sort of
Oh,
a thing. I can't remember the name, what his social media name was, but what he was he realised there was all these, particularly boys, out there that didn't have dads. And
yes.
so it's like the things my dad would have taught me. And
Mm.
she just said, oh, he had so many followers and he was just teaching him really basic things
Yeah.
that boys would have learned if they had a dad at home.
Yeah. Mm.
Or, like you say, have that family based
Yeah.
social network.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it just took off. Like
Yes.
she
Yeah.
just said, that just took off like crazy. And I think, well, when you look at YouTube and places like that, there are a lot of, grannies and whatnot there
Yeah.
teaching some of these skills that they normally would have taught their grandkids, I guess,
Yeah.
or whatnot in a different environment. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And something I watched recently is, I can't remember who said it, but it was, there's only two mammals that go through menopause, and
Oh, okay.
some
I
form.
wasn't expecting you to say
No,
that.
me either. So it's like, okay, so why? And who's the other one? And it's a
Yeah.
whale or something. And like nature, usually once you no longer able to reproduce, then you just die. So that's like that. So he said, so they looked into nature and compared it and went, ah, you know why? Because we need the older women to teach, and the whales needed the older women to teach the pathways of getting around the world. And so there's a teaching component that comes into play essentially in our older life.
Mm,
And it's like,
mm,
oh, wow. So this is,
mm.
yeah. So when it comes to teaching kids or anything else, yeah, that's where we
Well,
come
some
in.
of my biggest life lessons came from my nana.
Yeah.
Some of the things that I remember was my nana. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because when you're interacting with the younger generation, especially if it's grandkids, but any of them, you haven't got those same pressures that you've got as a young family trying to raise them, have you? You're
No.
not